Welcome to Too Many Men,
Oh,
Natasha Naismith.
Thank you. I've been waiting for this moment.
Natasha for Google purposes, if you want to search her up. Tash for life purposes.
Yes, please. Just Tash.
Tash for life. So, I'm still nervous, even though this is a good friend of mine.
Same.
But,
Same.
cool girl we got here. Just wrapped up the Rugby League World Cup for Canada. She was an OUA Allstar, played for York University for 5 years, well, 4 plus the COVID year. And then captained for 2 years or 3?
I think it was more 2 years. I was assistant captain for 1.
Right, under Meg.
Yeah.
Former
Meg was
guest.
captain.
Hello, Meg.
Yeah. Hi, Meg.
So this was a challenge for me because I know you.
Yeah.
And so I was like, how do I kind of tell the story of Tash without skipping over things? But I realized that I never asked you how you got into rugby.
I mean, both my parents played rugby.
Did they really?
Yeah. That's how they met.
Get out.
They both played at Brampton.
No way.
So that's how they met. And just like I grew up playing soccer like my whole life. And like I was a very aggressive soccer player.
Oh, yeah.
And so like the one day in like Fergus had this like try rugby. And my mom's like, oh. Like
Wait,
both,
what's Fergus? Is that the town? Club?
Yeah.
Oh, the town.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, there's a
Got
town
it.
called Fergus.
Okay. Okay, yeah. But you're from Orangeville.
Yes.
And then Fergus, is that like close to it?
It's like 30 minutes away.
Got it. I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah.
Go.
But so there was this like try rugby thing, and like both my parents were like, why don't we go and try it? So like me, my sister, and like my friend like went and did this like try rugby thing, and it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
So we went, and we're like, why don't we give it a shot, see how it goes? So we were playing soccer and rugby, and then just kind of switched more into rugby.
Yeah. How old were you?
I started playing when I was 12.
Oh my gosh, so you were little.
Yeah.
That's like rare in the rugby world, I've noticed.
Yeah.
It seems like people get into it later, like
Late,
high
yeah.
school or something.
It was, and then like my sister's 2 years older than me, so like she was 14 at the time,
Right.
and then like my friend was 13, like she's a year older. So it was like I was always playing up to their level. So I was like playing U15 when I was 12.
Oh my god.
And then I played like U14 boys when I was 14. And
Right. Only you.
it was so much fun. I loved playing U14 boys.
I bet. Wait, you were like full sail on the boys team?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, wait. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Were you the only girl?
Yeah.
Oh my god. And you weren't like out of your element?
No.
That's
I
what
still
love
played
so
fly
much
half
about
though.
you.
So
Okay.
it was like a lot of refs had issues with it when if I was in the scrum.
Right.
Like, they didn't want me to be in the scrum because like it's a bunch of boys.
Right.
So I would just like play out in the backs. But I was in my element.
And you probably fit right in because it's you. Only you. Only you. That is so funny.
I have pictures.
What was it like socially? Did you feel like weird and like
I mean, you know, at like the age of 14, like you're
Totally.
all awkward and
Yeah.
weird, and it was fine. Like they were all good. I like played with a kid I went to elementary school with, so like we were friends in that aspect. But it was like it was odd at first, but you start kind of fitting in and getting to know the ropes of everything, and it was fine. I was just like one of the guys.
And you tackled.
Yeah.
And they tackled you.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they went easy on you?
Not
times?
at that.
What about
age.
your own teammates?
No.
Wow.
I wouldn't say so. Like we would, like the men's and women's team, like we would practice at the same time. So then we would play like British Bulldog and stuff and
Right.
like all that. So we would continue to just tackle each other.
Yeah.
So it was yeah.
Wow. I love that. No wonder you're so like fearless if you started out playing for the boys team, the only girl.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
My sister and like her friend played when they were 14 too. Like they would go to a couple games, and I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, but obviously I was too young at the
Too
time.
little.
But then so when I was 14,
And
I
then joined
I
in.
started playing with them.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So when you went to high school, were you like by far the best person on the team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because like my high school didn't have a rugby team, and then like but we had a French teacher that like loved rugby. Like my sister always spoke about him. So then there was like this like grade 8 day at the high school, and my sister introduced me to him and was like, this is Tash, like loves rugby, blah, blah, blah. So like me and my sister started the rugby team at like when I went into grade 9.
Yeah.
We like started the rugby team there and played all through high school. And
wow, has it been going ever since? Did they still have a team?
It kind of went downhill after I left. It probably was there for like 2 years after, but it's done now.
That's kind of what happens though. Like, how many people were at your high school? Was it a big high school?
It wasn't. We had we have 2 high schools in Orangeville, so like
Catholic and public?
No, there's 2 public.
Oh wow.
But there was probably like 1,000.
Okay.
Like 1,100. Like it wasn't too bad, but it's kind of like what side of the town you live
right
on.
See, being from Alberta, 1,100 is like a huge high school to me,
Yeah,
but I guess
figured.
in Ontario it's not that big. Okay, yeah, interesting. Let's back up because I want to ask you about one other thing. Okay. So there was one other illustrious career you had in sport that I happen to know about, and it was in the sport of gymnastics.
Oh, yes.
Please tell me how you like got into gymnastics and how long you did it for. Did your mom put you in it?
Yeah, like
were you little?
Yeah, you know when you're like a little kid and like you start trying like different sports and stuff. So we my parents put us in everything. Like I played everything when I was little. Yeah. And then so I went into gymnastics and dance, and like my sister went into dance, and then I was like I had to choose kind of which route I wanted to go, whether it was dance or gym, and I chose to do gym. Yeah. So I started competing when I was 8. Yeah, little 8-year-old Tash running around, and then I competed for like 10 years because like starting at 8, I competed until I was 18. Wow. I quit like when I went to York.
Oh like, my God, I didn't know that. I didn't know you did it all the way through. Yeah. Oh my God. So it was like you were like the real deal Kinda, gymnast.
Yeah. Wow. I was like a provincial gymnast all that time. And then when I was about 15, I would say, I started doing trampoline too. Oh yeah. So then I was like jumping back and forth between like gym and tramp. And yeah, I quit obviously going to school, but then I would go back and like work and coach and stuff. And then it kind of rugby kind of more took over.
Did you miss it when you walked away from it?
Yeah, it was hard to walk away because like I was at the gym every day. Like I would go and train or I would go and work. So I was there like Monday to Saturday. Yeah. Just like chilling. Yeah.
I have to explain like why I'm laughing, and it's not because there's anything wrong with gymnastics. I actually think it's like gymnastics has to be one of the most difficult sports you can do, and I so admire it. The reason it's so funny to me is like if you gave me a lineup of people
you would never
that I know
that I was a gymnast
and said like which one of these people did gymnastics for 10 years, you are the last person that I would guess.
I know.
Because you're so like tough and like rough and tumble. Like that's just like I think of you as like the baddest mother in town.
I was not the elegant gymnast.
No.
I was very like heavy on my feet. Like I'm not a dancer. Yeah. So I'm not flexible. So I was more like the power person. Like I would be like I like could do really high tumbling on floor, and like vault was my favorite because it was like you're running full speed and flipping off this thing.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I was more like the power side of things. I was never like the dancey elegant type. Like I cannot dance to save my life.
Me neither. Was there anything about gymnastics that you think made you a better rugby player?
Yeah, I honestly like looking back on like gymnastics as a whole, I think it really set a good foundation of an athlete.
Really?
Yeah, because like you're coordinated. You got like good, I know like rugby like spatial awareness, but like you need to have spatial awareness. Like your balance is great. Like it's just like it's, in my opinion, I think it's just like a whole different level of strength. Like it's different.
Yeah.
Than like going to the gym and lifting weights. Like you have to be able to like hold your body in like different positions and like be able to support your weight on everything. So it was just like I really think it set like a good foundation to like who I was as a rugby player.
Totally. It gives you core strength like no other. I've noticed too. Like you know that show Cheer?
Yeah.
Actually I think we were watching it at the same time. But like their core muscles, it's insane. It's like they're literally like almost like straight up and down, but it's not because they're like not like filled out or curvy or anything. It's literally just because their core muscles are so defined that they're like it's like a
because even in cheerleading, like, and gymnastics, like, you have to be so straight because if you're off a little bit, like, you're going to fall. Yeah. So it's like you do have to like have that core muscle to stay straight the whole time. So like it is a different level.
It's a different level. Yeah. I think it's like, and there are like lots of things I'm bad at this lifetime, but like that's the number one thing. I swear to you, Tash, look me in my eyes right now. I've never done a cartwheel.
Let's try it.
Don't do this to me. I'll do it off camera and I'll insert a clip. I'm going to break something if we do it in here. That if you held a gun to my head and you said, Lauren, do a cartwheel.
Do a cartwheel or die.
I'd be like, just give me the bullet. So I love that. And the reason I love that so much is because it just shows like the range that women are capable of. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like an athlete is an athlete is an athlete. There's no type of person that fits any type of sport. It's about like what you enjoy, which I think is amazing. And I want to talk about our time together at York, which was kind of ruined a little bit by COVID.
COVID really put a damper in that.
But I have to tell this story. I feel like I'm going to do a lot of talking in this, like more than I normally would, but it's because we know each other that I'm like, and this. Yeah. I have to tell the story of like the first time met is a big word. I don't even know if we spoke to each other, but my first impression of you. We're in the room. I don't even remember what building, but it was like meeting one for the year in person for the 2019 rugby season. And I was there early. So it was like me, I think Jen was in the room, maybe not. Just to paint a picture.
You're just sitting awkwardly.
Sitting there, I don't know
like
anyone.
The stadium.
Probably, I think it was.
Like upstairs.
Yeah, I think it was YLS.
Yeah.
So literally like the door bursts open. I literally, in my mind, you kicked it down. You didn't, but it felt like you did. You like kick it down.
I probably kicked it.
You throw your hands up like this to the audience of one, which is me, and you're like, you go, sup, bitches. I was like, holy fuck.
I would have done it to the audience of 0.
She's a born performer, but I was like, oh my God. I instantly was like, hey, I like love her, and also I'm kind of scared. I'm just like right out the gate.
Obnoxious.
I'm like this chick. No, I liked it. I liked that vibe because I was like, this person is obviously a leader. Like she's being herself. She's excited. She's like getting me excited. And then the other thing that I remember, and this was like the next day, this cracked me up. And I don't even know if I've ever told you this story. I don't
think you have. This is all new to me.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever, but this is the stuff that when I'm interviewing you, I'm like, I should talk about that. So picture this. It was so humid that week. It was so humid. We were outside. I think we were doing fitness on our on the knockoff crap field that we always practice on. That's not the turf. And you take your cutoff off. Just like, so you're in like your rugby shorts and your sports bra, and you turn to like the group of us that were next to you, and it was like rookies. I'm not a rookie, obviously. Like I'm not like age wise, like I'm like an old woman, but I was there first year. You turned to a group of us and you were like, hope you like muffin tops.
I didn't know.
Yeah, you did. And it cracked me up for a week. I couldn't stop thinking because it was so funny. You're like, hope you like muffin tops. And I was like, I do actually.
Who am I? Who lets me speak?
But I love that because
who
you
lets
are
me out of the house?
A powerhouse of an individual. That's what I really like about you. And what I learned about you, and then I'll shut up and we'll go back to asking you questions, is that you are one of the most unshakable people I know. Like, we could be up by 100 or down by 100, and you give the same energy, the same drive, the same focus. Like, you're not someone that's easily thrown off, which I love about you. So let me ask you this. Where does that come from?
I don't know. I honestly could not tell you. I just like we all know Rick, my dad. He's a very outgoing person. Yeah. Loves to talk. Very confident. Yeah. Just, typical Rick. So I feel like that's like kind of where I get it from, of like, he's such a outgoing, obnoxious person. So I'm like, here's Tash, outgoing and obnoxious. Right. Like, I don't know.
Or maybe just like encourage you to be yourself. Like, I think sometimes if parents are just like they allow their child to like be confident and like be who they are, then the world doesn't like beat it out of you almost.
Like and they weren't the like soft parents of like my brother broke his wrist and my mom yells at him to tape an aspirin to it. Like they were kind of like that tough love of like suck it up. Like growing up, you know, it was like suck it up. Like you're fine. So it wasn't the like, oh, I fell, oh, it's okay, like are you okay? It was kind of like a, why are you on the ground?
Yeah, like figure it out, which I love. Do you feel like you are a suck it up kind of person? Is that your attitude in life?
Yeah. Do
you think it's served you?
I do. I think it's helped me along the way of like you're fine, suck it up, like do better. Like that's where my mentality is like do better all the time. Like be great. Like go out and like I know you can do better. Yeah. So like don't suck. Yeah. You know?
I love that about you. You're so direct. I love Oh my gosh. I remember because you were the captain my first year. Yeah. And what I liked about you, but that it took a little bit of getting used to for me, is how direct you are. Yeah. And I think the reason it was different is because not a lot of women are socialized to be like that. I feel like as women, we're taught to like be apologetic, be super nice, be careful what you say. Yeah. And with you, it was like you were never mean, but you were always like, yep, this is what needs to be done. Like, let's figure it out. And within like a week, I got used to it. But at first I was like, wow, like I've never like seen someone be so like, yep, do it, figure it out. And it's not personal. Like you're not doing it to be mean.
No, I'm not doing it to be mean. And I know there was like a few people that couldn't get used to that and didn't agree with that. Right. So it was really hard, even like as like a captain as a whole, because there's so many personalities, and because this is my personality of like blunt and direct, it's like some people don't take well to that. So it's like I'm just being mean. Yeah. So it's hard to like have that balance.
It is hard. Did it make you ever like question your leadership? Like was it hard when people didn't take well to it?
It was hard, and I'm like sometimes like people tell me like I don't know how to like change and speak to people properly, and it was really hard to like that really hit me of like, well, am I even doing a good job? Because if I can't change on how I'm supposed to talk to people, but then I'm like, why do I have to change how I speak to people if like people aren't going to do the same?
Well, I agree with you. And to your point, like the reality is you can't please everyone. I don't care what captain on this earth you're talking about. I don't care if it's a team of 10 or 100. No one's always going to like the leadership style of the captain. So that's not abnormal. Like I have different opinions of every captain I've ever dealt with. But what I respected about you more than any captain I've ever had is that you were honest, and you were like, I'm not beating around the bush, and you were never mean. Yeah. You would just be like, yep, this is what it is. Figure it out or don't. Yeah. And I actually really liked that about you. And I think that as time goes on and we like socialize women and girls to like be able to be more vocal and direct, like we will see lots more little Tashes out there taking the world by storm.
I hope so. I hope I can make a positive impact of like not being afraid to speak up. Yeah. 100%. But even at York, like I think we did such a good job of trying to hit like, I was like the overall captain, but like we had those different personalities of like one being direct, one kind of being in the middle, and one being like not like a softer,
like a morale guy. Yeah.
So I think it helped with all of that, and we were able to like balance each other out of like I'm being like a bitch and being straight up with everything going on, and then we get like the other one coming in and be like, okay, like let's try and just
we can do it. We got that. Yeah. Are you referring to Michaela as the personality hire?
Yes, Michaela was such a hype man, and such a
hype man.
Positivity, and so it really helped, and then like Allie was like that middleman of like can be direct, but can also be that person of like, okay, I can sympathize with you a little bit, and I'm just like, no.
I love that about you, though. It went from me being like, oh, I don't know how to handle this, to it being so endearing. Yeah. Now it's one of my favorite things about you, that you're like the sky is blue, the grass is green. Like, take it or leave it. Like, I love that about you, actually. And I think it also translates into your playing style, because you're also a very confident rugby player. You are one of the most, what do they call that? Like, you have such contact courage. Like, you're not scared of anyone or anything.
I love contact.
I know you do. Like, you're one of those people. There's some rugby players that I think, like me, where it's like, it's part of the game. Do I like doing it? No. Then there's people like you that I see something in your eye that you get excited about tackling someone.
I do. I honestly really do. And, like, I just, like, look at people across from me and I'm like, yeah, dead. And I don't know what, like, and obviously, like, coming in New York in my first year, I was, like, hesitant like that. Like, I tried to avoid it, hated it. I was, like, so scared to do tackle practice. And obviously, like, tackle practice isn't ideal because you're tackling your own team. But I don't know. There was, like, a switch between, like, I would probably say, like, second and third year. Maybe it was, like, because I moved from fly half to hooker. Like, and hooker, you have to be a part of contact. Like, there was just, like, a switch where I was like, I'm ready to hit. Like, I'm excited to hit.
Wow.
And even now, I'm just like, I want to go make this tackle.
Yeah. And did you have to do any mental, like, work to get to that point, or did it just, like, kind of happen naturally?
I think it just kind of happened naturally of, like, I don't know, maybe it was, like, I don't remember, like, the turning point of, like, what I did, but it was just, like, it brought me so much joy to, like, tackle people. As psychotic as that sounds.
I love you
like,
so much.
I swear I'm not crazy, but
you kind of have to. I think you have to. I think that's what separates like the average rugby player from someone that plays for Canada. Is someone that's like literally out for blood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So good on you. One of my favorite things is that I think it's on video too, but at the very least, there's an unreal picture of you and Allie tackling that person at the same time.
That is my favorite video.
It's my favorite video too.
Yeah, it was in like the
I'll
highlight
insert it.
reel.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if we can find it. It was like Allie and I we work together really well because she's such a low tackler and I'm such a high tackler.
Sorry about it.
But I went high and she went low, and it was just kind of like we both swung into it. And I was like, I love the picture that came with it. I love the whole video, and I'm like, that brings me so much joy to watch.
Me too. And you're both literally like perpendicular. You're both flying through the air at this poor girl.
Yeah, like my legs are like spread out.
They literally are. We have to insert it.
Yes.
Because holy shit.
I love that video.
I would not want to be the poor girl.
No.
What team was that?
I want to say it was Laurier.
Yeah, it must have been
I think
Laurier.
it was Laurier.
Poor thing. Okay. So let's get back to you. Story of Tash.
Me.
So you're in high school. You guys start up the high school team. How did you end up going to York? And were there like other schools you considered going to?
I considered going to Acadia just because like the coach reached out to me. But even like York as a whole, like the old coach, like Joe, he like reached out to me and like because I like in my rugby career and like even in sevens like Ian Fitzgerald, like he was such a big coach in my life for a while, and then his like really good friend Joe, like he worked at York, and he's like, I want you to come, like what do you want to do with your life, like we have a really great kin program, like if you want to go into athletic therapy, blah blah blah, like. And then like the Acadia coach reached out to me and was like, come out here, come play, but like I don't know, just something about like being like at York or like closer to home, because then I could like go home whenever I want and like still see my friends and all that. And so I was like, and then I remember I was actually at York for a trampoline competition.
Gymnast.
Yes. And I remember meeting with, I want to say it was Toby and Meg. And they gave me like a tour of the school and just like hyped it. And I was like, it's sold. And then I was like, this is it. Like, this is what I want to do. Then I think I signed, like, accepted my offer to York, like, in, like, February.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were committed from
I remember
the
I was, like, going to Quebec, and I was, like, because, like, you know, like, grade 12 trip to, like, Quebec or whatever. I'm, like, literally, I think I was in grade 11. No, I wasn't. I was in grade 12, because obviously.
It's okay. I'm with you.
I was, like, on the bus route, and they're like, you got accepted to York. And then I was like, all right, take my offer.
Yeah. You're like,
I think it was, like,
there.
the week, the week after, I was like, I'll be there.
Let me ask you this. How do I put this? I applied to York without seeing it. And I loved York. Loved my program. I loved the women's rugby team. Do go play for them. But the village
God.
was very eye-opening for me.
Yep.
As a burbs girl from St. Albert, Alberta, I was like, what's going on here? Did you have a moment where you were like, where am I right now? When you lived there?
Yeah, so trying to find, obviously, like in first year we stayed in res.
Mm-hmm.
So then like we would go to like parties and stuff, but it's like late at night. You just like show up at the house and you're like,
it's dark, whatever.
All right.
You got a few drinks and
yeah,
you don't
like,
realize.
You never really see it in the daylight.
Mm-hmm.
So then I think it was more leading into like second year when we were searching for houses, and I was just like, what? Like, I remember showing up to like view a house, and I pull out and there's just garbage everywhere. Like, you see condoms on the ground, just like
constantly. There's always a mattress. There's always a mattress on the lawn. On each block. It's like a requirement, I think. Right. You have to. One person on the street has to have a mattress.
And like garages are just open and there's spray paint. And I'm like, where am I?
Brief intermission. And welcome back.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back. Okay, wait, where were we? I'll cut from where we. What were we talking about?
Oh, the village.
Oh yeah, sorry. Mattress on the ground.
Spray paint everywhere.
Yeah. But you lived, you survived, you made it through.
Yeah.
Overall, how was your experience at York?
At York, it was, I loved it at York. Mm-hmm. It was great. Obviously, classes sucked. Yeah. But even just, like, being an athlete at York, like, it was just, like, a different atmosphere. Like, I enjoyed it so much. And I think, I don't know, that's just me as my personality. Like, I love being an athlete. Mm-hmm. So like I look for that like community. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, I enjoyed it at York. I loved my roommates. The only thing I didn't like was being in the city. Yeah. It was like, Orangeville's like not that big, but it's also like, it's not like super small town, but it's like people have referred it to as the bush. Right. Because people are like, where do you live? Orangeville. Where is that? Right. So it was definitely a big change. And I don't think I would ever move back to the city. Mm-hmm. I'm like, this is just not for me. So it traumatized you? A little bit. You're like, it was great, but I would never do it again. How was it for you, like, not having your senior year because of COVID? It was hard. Like, I struggled as a student. Like, I went through a lot. Like, almost got kicked out of the program because my grades sucked because, like, COVID. Mm-hmm. Like, it was such a big adjustment to, like, not being in class, to be like, hey, online, good luck. Mm-hmm. So it was a big adjustment, and still managed to finish, still managed to graduate. But it was tough, and just being like, hey, you can't be who you are. Like, you can't go to the gym, you can't go play rugby, mm-hmm. and you're just, like, forced to sit at a computer and try. And, like, I found that, like, it was just, like, teach yourself. Yeah. Like, in my last year as a student, I never had class times because they were just like, okay, here are your set dates of midterms, and when projects are due, it's like, we'll put out the recording on Monday or on Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day the class was, and it's like, good luck. Yeah. Like, so I really struggled with that. and then like being kind of stuck inside, and it was so hard. And then like not realizing that it was my last year.
Yeah.
Like not getting that grad game and not getting like that recognition that like I was here for 5 years.
Yeah.
And like I dedicated so much of myself to playing on this team that like, not that I needed the recognition, but like seeing how everybody got their grad game and all their support from like their fans and family and friends, and like it was just hard because like we never got that.
No.
And it like it sucked because like I never realized that it was my last game until it was like too late. And even like we had like a sevens tournament, and we like our last sevens tournament of the year, like the prior year, we like walked off like the grads there too. And I was like, that was the last time I ever played rugby at York. And I didn't know.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was very hard, boring, because it was just like, I didn't go to convocation. So it was like, it was still during COVID, and I'm like,
was it that's like online?
No, yeah. So I watched it online.
Oh, you did.
I did watch it. Saw my name go across the screen. And then like I could have gone to the non-COVID convocation, but I'm like, I already graduated. Like I don't want to.
It's gone and passed.
I don't want to go back. Like
you don't realize too that like when you're in most other phases of your sport life, your time with that group of people or with that team or in that school or with that club, it's like 2 years, maybe 3 years, 1 year. But university in Canada, it's like usually people are there for 5 years. And the first couple of years are like, it's like the first year sucks. You're trying to figure it out. It's in a new level. Maybe you're a red shirt or not, or you don't, you know what I mean? Or you're not making new friends and you like hate your life, whatever. And then it's like every year it gets a little better.
Yeah.
And I feel like kind of the whole point of like struggling through year 1 through like 3 or year 1 and 2 is that you're going to reach that point of being the vet, the captain, the leader in 3, 4, and let alone 5. 5 is like the apex.
Yeah.
And so I feel for every athlete in the whole, I mean, in so many countries, not even just in Canada, that lost out on what was supposed to be like the peak of your university career, like school aside, school schmool. But like, I felt for you guys that you didn't get to have your season as like the most refined experienced university athlete. Yeah,
it was really hard. And even like people that we went into first year with, because like so Stong is like the athlete building. So like on our floor we had like football players and volleyball players and like all these athletes. So we kind of like went through university together. Like I remember there was like 2 volleyball girls on our floor at the time, and then like seeing them again in 4th year, and we were like so excited about 5th year and how we started, like we were sitting there talking about like how we wanted to make it so much fun and start doing stuff and just make it like a wild last year at York. And it kind of all went to shit when COVID hit. And so yeah, it definitely was like, it was hard. It sucked.
Was there a part of you that worried that was like the end of like high level rugby?
No, because that year like we had like World Cup tryouts and stuff, so I still had something to work for.
Yeah.
Like when gyms opened up again and stuff, I was like, I had my mind set on like I want to make this team. And like because we weren't really able to like go to rugby practices, which I don't really understand why, because outside, but whatever. I still had that motivation and that determination to go to the gym every day. And because like you can't really do anything else. Yeah. So I was in the gym 5 days a week. Like it became such a habit for me that I was like, even now I'm sitting at home, I'm like, I'm bored. Yeah. I'll go to the gym. Yeah, like, totally. So it became such a routine, and it was definitely easier to keep that motivation because I'm like, I want to make this team. Yeah. So I needed to be great.
So how did you get into, so obviously this is like the happy ending of it all, which is that you might not have gotten your last year at York, but you did get to represent Canada. I did. How did you get into playing rugby league? I touched on this super quick. with Petra and Megan, but
Yeah.
if people, because I'm sure your friends and family will want to listen. And for anyone that doesn't know, can you name like a few of like the big differences between rugby union, rugby like 15s and 7s versus league?
Pretty much like in league, like there's only 13 players on the field, and for those who don't really know rugby and when they compare it to football, like in league you have 6 tackles and then you have to kick it away or you score. So kind of more in that like football aspect of like
It's almost like
downs, yeah. But it's you just like get 6 tackles,
right?
And then instead of like a ruck, you have to like get back 10 meters, and it's just like a play the ball instead of like contesting against each other. So you do, unless you obviously like mess up, like you do have 6 possessions of the ball. So that's kind of like the biggest difference.
I feel like you touched on them. That's like I feel like those are the biggest things most people would notice. How did you get into rugby league?
It was actually after the like 2017 World Cup, where I saw like Meg and Petra and like all them, like obviously like Petra was there as manager
Because of her injury.
But like going to see, like watching Meg go and like represent and play at the World Cup, I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, if she can do it, like why can't I do it? So like Andy Ireland and like Petra kept like reaching out to me and was like, hey, do you want to come try it? And I'm like, might as well. Like, why not?
Yeah. Did you like it right away?
It was,
As a game?
so. I think just because like I love rugby so much, I'm like, oh my god, more rugby to play. But I did really enjoy it. And then I remember like Petra saying like, hey, we have this opportunity for you to like play for the Canada Selects out in Calgary, and they're playing some like New Zealand university or something. She's like, would you be interested in going? I was like, of course. Like, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
So I remember like that was like my very first rugby league game. Terrified.
Really?
I was so scared, especially playing against this like New Zealand side. They're massive.
Totally.
They're so scary. And obviously like because I'm like fly half, I'm a back, like it was just like, but like as halfback, it's different than kind of like you have 2, obviously, like 2 of each position. So I'm like showing up, I don't know a single person. I'm like meeting people and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like the youngest. Like people have children.
Yeah.
Like they're talking about their kids and I'm like, what?
You're like,
20?
I know what you mean. You're like, been
I'm
there.
like 20
Kids
years
are the worst.
old and I'm like 21 and I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
What did I get myself into?
Seriously.
It was a good game. It was fun.
Did you win?
No.
Did you lose by a lot?
I don't know.
It's New Zealand.
No, I think it was
so
a close
probably.
game, but like I think we lost.
Yeah, damn it. Well, at least it wasn't a blowout.
No.
If it was that bad, you'd remember.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Wow.
that was an experience. And then I was like, this is like so much fun.
Yeah.
So I stuck with it.
And then how did we go from there to then you being on the Ravens and playing for Canada? What was the like process?
I think like just kind of sticking out because like we have like the ORL, like the Ontario Rugby League. So like starting to kind of, we're obviously still trying to like grow it as a whole. So starting to show up, like it was just like, we started off with like 5 people just showing up to a field, like and having Andy trying to like teach us the rules, and we're just like, what?
Wow.
And then it was just kind of like, obviously Petra's like great, like out there with like trying to like get things going. So I think like she really helped with like grow the sport and like started making more opportunities for everyone to start playing and stuff. And then I remember we like played before like a Wolfpack game once, just like I don't know, we like played touch, like whatever, like you know, like those little kids running around, like that was us.
Aw, that's so cute.
And then there was like a 9s tournament going on, and we're like, hey, like let's put in a team, and it just started creating like more opportunities, and definitely started to like being a part of that, then I went to Serbia, and like Serbia was an option. So then I got to go like.
I remember you abandoned us.
I
to go to
did.
Serbia.
I did. That was like the biggest opportunity. Like that was like my first cap for Canada, was going to play for Serbia, and we started doing like East-West games and started to get more and more like bigger, I guess, in Ontario. So that's just kind of where, and then I was like seeing all of these people from Ontario being like, hey, I went to the World Cup. I'm like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So
when did you get the news that you were selected for the Ravens? Do you remember what you were doing?
It was after I was at work.
Were you?
Yeah. And no one was around. Knowing me, I was probably sitting on the floor when I got this email.
What job was this at?
I was at Zayre's. So I sit on the floor a lot. And I was just like scrolling through my phone, and it was after the camp that we had in Brampton. So it was like July. And I remember Mike was saying that they're going to select 15, and then there's going to be 9 to kind of fill the rest of those spots.
Okay.
So then I remember him sending me an email saying like, you've been selected on this 15. And I'm like, I was like losing my mind.
Yeah.
And like nobody was around.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to tell people, I don't know what to do. I'm like running, and I'm like, what? So it was very like, I was so shocked.
Yeah. I was so excited for you. I remember when you told me, I was like losing my mind. So then how far out from the actual World Cup did you find out that you were on the team?
Well, the World Cup, we left in October.
Yeah.
So I found out like, I don't know if camp was in July or August, so it was like then.
So like not long before.
But then like the last tryout to like set the team was like September.
Wow.
Because it was at the East-West game.
Right.
And we had a certain date to like hit the deadline.
Yeah.
So like when we went out to Abbotsford to like play the East-West game, that was kind of like everyone's last chance to like show what they can do and make this team.
Yeah.
So then I think it was like the week after like the list was put out and the team was selected. Like it was cool.
How did you like playing in England as like a venue?
I mean, it was fine.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like I wouldn't choose to like go to England.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so what did you not like about it?
It was cold. It was raining. It was like, like it rained like every day.
Very that.
Like,
you don't go, if that's how you feel about it, you wouldn't like Vancouver either.
See, but like the scenery is different in Vancouver.
Yeah. That's
like, I love the mountains. Whereas like,
totally.
It was just like old buildings. And I'm like, all right. Cool.
Let's pray that no one from England listens to
I know.
this. They're going to be like, what? Okay,
England.
so you just like, I mean, fair. It is dreary and it is like, like the architecture has been around forever and ever. So I see what you mean. So not your favorite place, but what about as like what about playing in front of like their crowds, playing in their venues?
They were amazing.
Yeah.
Like just all of the fans, like even when we lost against like Papua New Guinea and against England, like we were just walking down the stadium and people would like come down and be like, oh my God, you guys played amazing. Like you guys did so well. And they were just unreal. Like they were so kind. And then people started to like, you felt like you were such a star.
You are a star. Like, you are, right?
Hollywood. And then because people were like, can we take a picture with you? Can you sign this? Can you sign that? So then it started getting into like.
What did you say? Were you like,
I was like,
no, this isn't a fishbowl, people. I need
I'm like,
space.
Get my face out there.
Oh, that was your approach? You're like,
I'm
yeah,
trying to be
tweet
a
it.
Star.
You're calling the paparazzi. You're like, I will be at the game
Hollywood
today.
Now.
I love that. I love that so much. That's so cute.
It was nice. Just like it was like rewarding that people would be like, you guys played amazing. Even though we didn't get the results that we wanted, it was just like we still did that. Like we still went out there and put out our efforts, and so it was like it was gratifying. Like it was rewarding. Like I loved it.
Absolutely.
And
who was the toughest? Sorry, not what were you gonna say?
I was just saying I got to be an athlete for like 3 weeks, so I was living my best life.
A pro athlete. And how many people, was it like 15,000 or something in your England game?
I think so. Because it was a double header and like the men's quarterfinals were right after. So it was like busy because of that.
Right. And people just like stuck around. No, not at all. Like 100% there was a lot of like.
There was a lot of people
overwhelmingly it would have been people there for you. Who was the team in the whole tournament that like you were most impressed by, that you thought was like your toughest matchup?
Between the teams that we played, I mean, Papua New Guinea was unreal because like the last World Cup, like that was the game that we won.
Was the Papua New Guinea?
Yeah, we beat Papua New Guinea the last World Cup. So seeing just like how they played this one, it was like they were so like tuned.
Yeah.
Like they were like watching, because I wasn't at the last World Cup, so like watching that game and seeing where they were then and where they were now, I'm like, that's a totally different team. Yeah. But even like it was Brazil's first time in the World Cup, and just like every game that they played, like they got progressively better. Yeah. And like they started to know more, and I'm like, geez. Yeah. Like it's just like it was great to watch.
It's really nice seeing all of these nations that are like starting to join in the women's rugby world, because obviously there's so many men's teams across the globe, and it's just exciting to watch that it's growing.
And even like, so this World Cup there was 8 teams, and I think and in the next World Cup there's more. Wow. I can't tell you how many, but like because I don't know, but like we're opening it to more countries and like more opportunities to like qualify and more teams to play. Yeah. So
was there a highlight for you in the World Cup, like your favorite memory of your time there?
Obviously I think like my most favorite as a player was like when I picked the ball and ran and I ended up breaking the line. It was almost like a, what do I do now? Right. Like what do I run?
I didn't expect to get here. Amazing.
Yeah, that was like my biggest like.
Which game was that?
The Brazil game.
Brazil. Amazing.
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, like I've done it.
It's like I did it. I got tackled afterwards, but I was cute. Like, I did something.
What? Proud of you. Thanks. Heck yeah. Was your family there at all?
No, my grandparents showed up. Because like my grandpa was born in England, so this was probably like one of the last opportunities to like go back home and. My parents were so on the fence about coming the whole time. Like my mom wanted to come and was like, yes, let's go. Let's find a flight. Let's book. My dad's like, you know how expensive it is? Like it is expensive. Like it is. And so they didn't end up coming. But like my grandparents were there. So it was nice to see them.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. But I was like, man, a lot of people, because like my parents come to everything.
They do.
Like if my dad could come to all my practices, he would. Like he just like, they love to come. So a lot of people were like shocked that they weren't coming out.
But that's the Achilles heel for dads, especially white dads. They're cheap. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, do I want to watch my kid for the price? Like my dad would be like, ugh. If there was no like Swoop Airlines going to England, my dad would be like, can't come, sorry. I can't get a bargain, so send me a postcard. That would be the thing that would stop my dad too. I'm right there with you, sister. What do you think what's next for you? Like, where do you see kind of your career going from here? And do you want to do another World Cup? What do you think? Yeah,
I definitely want to play. Like, it's in 2025 in France, and I definitely want to be a part of that. Like, I see myself playing for, like, a long time.
Forever and ever.
Yeah, if I could, I would.
Yeah,
like,
I know, right?
So I know like this year we have like different opportunities. Like we're doing an East-West game again, and I think we're trying to do a tri-series with the U.S. and Jamaica. And,
amazing.
There's something like, I just want to get as much rugby as I can. Like I'm going to Nashville in March to like go play. Like,
what do you do? Like with what team?
I'm going with Norfolk.
I don't even know. Like their club team?
The Harvesters, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Ali and I are going.
I love that.
Because it's a 15s tournament, but I'm like, I want to go to Nashville to go play rugby.
Of course.
Yes. But so it'll be I'm hoping it'll be a lot of rugby this summer. I'm so looking forward to it.
I love it.
Like,
do you think that, oh, dude, don't even get me started. This country is a joke. Was it hard, do you think, because Megan and I think Petra as well mentioned this, like, because in Canada our lockdowns were like very drawn out.
Do you think
so bad? Like, do you think that was a disadvantage for you guys going into the World Cup?
For field purposes and practice purposes, yes. Even like, yeah, like it sucked. Like they shut down the gym forever.
Oh.
And I'm like, why?
Honestly, I think it's kind of showing even now. Like in the 7 series it's going on right now. Pre-COVID, we were always in like the top 5 teams. And I think we're ranked 10th right now for Canada. And I don't think it's for any reason other than the fact that we've gone so long without having like consistent training. And like those 2 years, well, it's like, yeah, okay, things have been open and normal-ish for like a year. But those 2 years made a big difference. 2 years of not having any development is enormous.
Or like the world shut down. And then the world starts opening up. But like even like Ontario, like it's like, oh, just kidding. Like all these provinces are starting to open up, try things again. And like we're sitting there like we're still in lockdown.
And Doug's like, nope.
Just kidding.
Nope, not you.
You thought wrong, right?
For sure.
And then it was like, okay, we'll open up for 2 weeks a month, try things out. Oh, numbers went up again. Just kidding. Go fuck yourself. Like, so it was so hard.
So hard.
And it was so hard to keep the motivation.
Yeah.
Because it was like, you have the opportunity, you get into a rhythm, and then it's like, just kidding.
100%.
So it was hard.
Really hard. Very hard. So you know what? I honestly think it's going to take our nation like a couple of years to bounce back from like what those 2 years did to our sport community. Like I feel like it did a freaking number.
Because we didn't have a club season for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So all these people are like starting families and getting jobs and moving everywhere.
Yeah.
So like even like women in sport as a whole, I think the participation rate has decreased.
Yeah, I do too.
So in all sports, like not just, so it's, and then having that motivation to like come back out and start doing things again, where you're like, I'm at this part of my life now, like that was in my past. And like, it sucks. Like I'm like expecting all these people to come back, but like they're doing other stuff. And they're like, no, like that's in my past. I'm like, but no.
You're like, come back, please come back. But it's true. I don't blame people. And I also think part of what like even kept me going in club was that I had like a connection to the people in my club. But then it's like when you don't see each other for years, it's like you said, people move, people change jobs, people take up new hobbies, whatever. And then like when you don't have that sense of accountability of like, all the girls are coming back and they're waiting on me, then you're kind of like, you know?
And even just like as rugby, because you have club and you have university and this and that, like you're almost like used to all that contact and all that tackling, and then having 2 years off, you're like, my body can't handle this anymore.
Literally. Do you think that will end up being like what stops you from playing? Because I'm older than you. How old are you? 23?
25.
You're 25? Oh my God. But you're a 98. Okay, yes, you are like 2 calendar years younger than me. I'm like, how old are you? 12? You're only
13
25. I would play rugby forever. However, my body is like, no, the fuck you're not.
See, I think if I keep that routine of playing rugby, even if it's touch, even if it's like going to the gym and like getting that summer and stuff, I hope my body won't crap out on me and be like, just kidding.
In my mind, you're indestructible.
I think I am too.
Do you have advice for anybody that like wants to work on their contact game? Because I feel like you're kind of like, you wrote the book on tackling.
Even though my technique is not.
You know what? I think it is, though. I think it is. You have great technique.
But it's hard because in league, like, tackling's so much higher.
Right.
because you're trying to protect balls, so you're
Right.
tackling the chest. So going back to union, they're like, that's a high tackle. And I'm like, no, it's
you're like,
not.
not to me, it's not. Maybe to
I'm like,
you.
you're dumb.
Yeah. Sounds like a you problem.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just, like, the biggest thing with tackling is just, like, you can't be afraid. And I know it's a lot to ask because, like, it's scary. Like, running at someone that's, like, twice your size, like, yeah.
Very scary.
It is scary. So it's just, like, you just can't be afraid. And, you know, fear strikes everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a weight that weighs you down. But I'm like, I don't know. You just got to, like, get over that fear.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe it's because, like, I still practice with our men's team. Like, I do a lot. And just having, because they're built different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so having them run at me, it's like, you can't be scared.
Yeah. So my last question is,
Oh, my
Tash, what is your superpower? And I know you've got a few, so don't be like, oh, I don't know. You have
But I
several.
don't.
You have several.
And, like, I've thought about it, because, like, you told me this, like, earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, think about it. And I'm like, what?
And then now I'm acting like it's the first time. I'm like, here's a question for
What's
you
your
that I
superpower?
just
But I'm
thought
like,
of.
it's been in my head all day, and I'm like,
What is
what?
that?
I don't know.
You've got so many of them.
Thank you.
Your confidence superpower.
That's what I was leaning towards, is, like, my confidence. And it, even, like, me, because, like, I've reflected my whole past, and even in university, and, like, who I am now and who I am then, like, I'm so much more confident with myself and with my rugby game, and just, like, with, like, myself as a whole, like, my body image, like, I'm just so much more of a confident person. And I also think that, like, steers from, like, I don't care what people think.
Yeah. I mean, you laugh, but
So,
it's like, that's a great attitude.
Like, I'm like, you have your opinions, I have my opinions. We're all able, like, we're all supposed to have opinions about each other, about everything, about everyone, and you just can't take those opinions to heart. And I'm like, I like who I am. If you don't like it, that sucks. Like, so I do think that, like, even over the last, like, over COVID and over the last, like, couple of years, I'm like, my confidence has, like, soared. And I'm sure, like, people are watching this, you're gonna be like, she's such a cocky fuck.
No,
like,
but this is so, let me tell you, as someone that's on the exact opposite side of the confidence spectrum, you'd think you're like, okay, you delusional narcissist, you start a podcast and then be like, I hate myself. But, like, like, clearly you don't. But, like, I doubt every single thing I do. And I'm working on it, so no need to do a wellness check on me, Mom, if you're listening. But, like, I base almost my entire self-worth on external opinions. So, like you said about how, like, if someone doesn't have a high opinion of you, you're like, well, I mean, everybody's got an opinion, whatever.
I'm like, you don't have to be a part of my life.
Right.
Like,
And whereas I'm like, oh my God, like, why? What did I do wrong? What can I do better? So, like, I don't, like, I'm in awe of you, like I said, for that reason, because I'm like, and maybe it's just a part of your soul and who you are, but is there any, like, work that you've had to do to adopt that mentality of, like, if you don't like me, kick rocks, basically? Because I'm genuinely asking for myself, like, whatever. Listeners,
rocks.
who cares? But, like, how do you do that? How do you get to that point?
I don't know. I do believe that, like, rugby has helped, because rugby as a whole is a sport for literally everybody. You can be 85 pounds, you can be 300 pounds, you can be anybody as a rugby player. So I think that it's, like, it's such an open environment to be who you want to be. Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted Barbie. But, like, it gives you the opportunity to, like, express who you are. Like, there's so many different people in the rugby community, and it's like, who cares? Like, who cares who you are? Like, if you can go out and be a good player, then, I mean, who cares what your personality is?
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, obviously I've worked on, like, myself a lot. I've, like, I don't know, I've just become, like, a more, like, I find like a more like positive person. Like, I don't know when that changed. Maybe it was when my confidence boosted.
Maybe.
But I'm just like, I am now looking for like to show like greatness in other people. And maybe that's like my position. Like even in rugby, like that's my position is like I distribute the ball. I pass to you so you can go and do something great. And I'm like, maybe I'm just like, I don't know. I look for greatness. Yeah. I just like great. Yeah. I just like being great. I like having other people be great. And I'm just like,
which I think that's the ultimate marker of someone that's happy with themselves, is someone that's like, I want to see other people do well, and it doesn't negate my own success.
No. It's like, I don't think I'm a selfish player.
You're
I don't
not
think
at
I'm
all
a selfish person.
No.
Like, even coming onto this podcast, I'm like,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Just kidding. Jokes
Jim
on
looking
you
at the
guys.
camera. Just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
But even like doing this podcast, like I was so like, I cannot speak highly about myself. It's so hard for me to like hype myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I'm
That's
going to have to sit here and talk about me. Like I suck at interviewing skills.
No, you don't. Strength? You've done amazing.
Well, now I have. Like
you're like, I'm in the group
because I
now.
know you.
Right, yeah.
But like I know I've like sat through interviews and I'm like, it's like, what's a strength? And I'm like,
it's hard.
I don't know.
Well, we're, like I said, I feel like as girls and women, we're not really encouraged to do that, right? We're not really encouraged to like be like, yeah, I'm great, deal with it. Yeah. But that's why I want to do this. Because
it's great because even like seeing this, like just the stigma out there of like you're not good enough to do something, and I'm like, why can't I?
Yeah.
Like I sit there and watch football games, and I'm like, I can make that kick.
For
like
sure.
I see like that.
And you can. That's true. Yeah. She's a good kicker.
And I like I know like the Dallas kicker has been going through it. And I'm like, but I can do that. Yeah. I'm like, put me on the field. Yeah,
I love that.
Get me out there.
You should email them. Hey. This is a call to the Dallas Cowboys.
Catch me. I'll send you my highlight tape. But yeah, there's just like, I don't know. Like I am a more confident person now. But still, like, talking about myself, I'm like, jeez. Like, you don't need to know. Like, I know how
people do need to know.
I know they do.
They need to know. I need to know. I learned a lot sitting here today, actually. This is great. But this is why I love doing this. This is why, like, even though I was really insecure when I started it, because I was like, what if it's not good enough? What if I'm not good at it? What if X, Y, and Z? This is the thing that, like, keeps me trying and working on it, is that I get to sit across from women that are super accomplished, and I get to ask you, like, what is your like magic? What is the magic of you? And then you get to like teach that to other people, and I think that's really, really important.
It's great. And even like getting out there and expressing that, like I hope this podcast gets out there for everyone. Like I think I hope people are like, yes, like women empowerment, man. Like
it's a good time for women in sport. I've noticed, like,
it is.
so much money is being invested into women's sport right now. So many media companies are like giving contracts to the NCAA and to pro women's league. So it's a good time.
It's good. It is good.
And that's why I'm like, see, now that you guys are on this stage, I'm like, let's like let people get to know you. You know.
Yeah, and I find, sometimes we're just better than the men's side, and it's like we need to get that gratitude of like, you're actually good.
Yeah.
Like.
You're good. You're great. You're amazing.
You're all great.
You're doing great, sweetie. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for doing this with me.
Of course. I actually had so much fun.
Did you? Good. Thank you for talking about your strengths, even though it's out of your comfort zone. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, Tashi.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to Pro Gymnast. Tash Naismith.